She loves her brisket rubbed. Alright, welcome back to Homestead Citadel. Good morning. It is a little on the cool side this morning for June, so it feels like a perfect opportunity to get the castrations done for our bulls. Hopefully we're not too late, and then while at the same time I'm going to be vaccinating specifically for blackleg, but the vet gave us some 7-part vaccination to cover other things that I'm not particularly worried about for grass-fed. But yeah, it's going to be a busy morning in the livestock barn, that's for sure. So let's get started. Well, I don't know how good that video is going to come out, but I just finished the first one. He was probably going to be my most difficult. It's just the way it went. I would have preferred to not do him first to get my process down and everything, but he's done. He was the one that I was hoping was going to be the future bull sire or herd sire, but he ended up, you know, his one testicle never fully descended into the scrotum, and that's considered hereditary, so I'm not obviously letting that be my herd sire. So he ended up getting banded. Tell me what you really think. But hopefully it's all downhill from here. It should be pretty easy for most of them, since they're just most of the animals. I am going to touch all of them. Most of them are just getting the vaccination. It's just 2 more yearling bulls that need castrated, and then that little guy. He'll be easy. I'd like to do him now and get him out of here, because I'm afraid it's going to be more chaotic as they figure out what's going on. So let me see if I can do the bull calf next. Got him. He's a little nuts. Well, he's about to not have any of those. Well, that was something. It took, obviously a battle, but the band is on. The one nut, being so young, they were really hard to find, obviously, and the one nut didn't want to stay in scrotum, so I had to like almost pre-pinch it to keep it down there. And then slide the band on. And every time I tried to slide the band on, it was enough pressure to get the nut out of the sack again. So it was not easy, but it's done. He just needs his shots now. him to lure the mom in. And then I'll do her and they can go out together. All right, I'm getting into a bit of a flow state here, but I'm running out of curious cows that want to come into this pen. I've managed to do most of the female, the mothers. They're the easy ones, just shot and go. I think I have one cow left before I move on to, well, one cow, one heifer, two heifers, and then I've got some bulls to do. See if I can get another one in here quick. All right, easy peasy. Last cow. Just using the two gates as a squeeze because it's faster than trying to get them in my actual head gate. You can go wherever you want. Alright, and that's how it goes for the females. Alright, see if I can bring you along for the last one. This is the yearling bull that has the bad temperament, but good genetics. I fully expect a fight for this one. He does not like me being near him at all. He might need a head restraint. Should probably cap my needle. This one's a crazy guy. See why he's not going to be a herd sire? Well, I don't exactly have a death wish today, so I let him out after he jumped up against the wall of the barn, about up to my eyeballs were his back legs. So I was not going to continue to play with him. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. A large part of me just wants to send him to the freezer like right now, but I know it would be beneficial if I held him another winter. He's of course still intact, you know, with his testicles, so there's that. I feel like he probably is only gonna get worse. I don't know. But they're all out here grazing. All the females got their Vision 7. My biggest concern is blackleg. Being a grass producer, it's a soil. It's something in the soil that can cause widespread death very quickly. So I wanted to get that vaccination finished, and then the boys that got castrated got a tetanus shot. When we ran pigs a few years ago, we elected not to do tetanus shots when we were castrating piglets, and we saw firsthand how destructive tetanus can be. We only had one instance, but it did not look fun. It was rough. So whenever we castrate or band or anything like that, we make sure to give them tetanus now, especially with cows, being that it's such cheap insurance compared to the value of the animal and the size of our farm. It would be a devastating loss. But they're out on pasture now, enjoying this kind of rainy, drizzly day. I'm sure there's some boys that are not too happy right now, but I'm glad that the majority of that work is done. The guy that is the issue is all the way in the back there. He doesn't want anything to do with me. He almost got me. Just crushed my finger, tip of my finger a little bit. But I'm glad things went as smoothly as they did, considering it was my first time dealing with cattle. You can't really manhandle cattle like I could sheep. I did not get the bull done. He kind of let me stab the needle into him, but then once he realized what was happening, he was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. And yeah, I didn't want a death wish, so I just let him out. I'm not gonna fight an animal that big. And I feel like I made the right decision, because man, do I have a spasm in my back. All right, well, I'm gonna call this job done with an asterisk. If I get a chance to do that crazy bull yearling, I will. Otherwise, very likely that he might have an accelerated path to the freezer. Maybe like mid next spring, before he gets too nuts. He's fine if he's out here. He just doesn't want me to be around him. But as the kid gets older and everything, with family considerations and whatnot, I'm not having an animal with a head like that around. I think it was caused by his mom. So when we first got her, she was a bit nutty when she arrived on farm. We were trying to turn her into a family milk cow, and she was not having it. So I think that him seeing her react like that probably had something to do with his temperament becoming what it is. Just speculation on my part. But yeah, he's not. We don't like him. And I definitely don't like him today. But that job's done, so we'll see what else we get into. Alright, there's our garlic scape harvest. 5 quarts of food processed, 3 pints of hand cut up in a baggie, and then 5 more pints of processed, a couple samplers, and then some for us to get started experimenting with it. So that was a pretty good haul. Alright, I'm getting ready to do another batch of food going through the freeze dryer, but I figure I'd show you real quick what I've been working on yesterday, for most of yesterday. We had some serious water issues, so I am digging an 80-foot trench. Lucky me. So the downspouts, water was backing up into the basement when we had a lot of rain. So we're getting the water issues fixed up. But back to the task at hand, I am going to be putting a bunch of kielbasa in the freeze dryer. I've got 20 packs of approximately 1 pound each, ready to slice up, run them through this small meat slicer. Makes roughly 1/2 inch thick discs that we put on the trays then and throw through the freeze dryer. We did an assorted batch in the freeze dryer that ended a day or so ago, and this gives you an idea of what they look like. It just comes out as a dried disc of meat. Perfect. So let's see if we can get more going. I think this is some of the raspberries that we ran through as well, trying those. These are interesting. They kind of like crumble to dust when you're eating them in like a very flavorful way. So let's get these 20 pounds or so of kielbasa sausages processed and see if we can get them in the freeze dryer. I might throw them in the freezer first to try to help the freeze dryer so it doesn't have to do that massive freeze effort. Because when I did it with just 4 trays, it took, I think, around 12 hours to actually start the vacuum process, like after freezing. So just trying to help that along and throw them in the freezer first. All right, I'm taking wet weights with the scale before I put them in. By capturing the weights, that would allow us to do the calculation to more accurately rehydrate when we need to reconstitute. Ended up with almost 6 full trays of sausage cut up this way with 20 pounds. Alright, so now I'm just gonna get the freeze dryer ready to go. All loaded up. I decided I'm not gonna pre-freeze them. Half of them are already, still pretty solid as far as, being pretty well frozen or cold. The chamber's temperature is dropping pretty quickly. Go ahead and close the drain valve. And there we go. It'll probably be in the freezing state for, I don't know, probably 8 to 10 hours. Since some of it was not still pretty close to frozen. It was starting to get thawed out there at the end of processing. But yeah, that's all there is to it. That's why I love this thing. It's super easy to process the food to get it ready for the freeze dryer, and then on the other end it's, put it in a jar and throw an oxygen absorber in it and be done. So this will probably take, the last one took about 40 hours. This one is probably a little bit more food than the last one, because the other one we had 2 trays of like a tray of fruit and a tray of asparagus that we were trying as well. So they were a little less as far as water weight. So this will probably be in like the 42-hour range is my guess. But now we just sit back and let it work.
Katie here. I just wanted to provide a quick update on the Harvest Rate freeze dryer. So sadly, the last batch of the kielbasa that Gray started never actually finished because we had an issue with the compressor in the freeze dryer, and it was causing it was tripping our circuits, and every time we turned it on it would trip it again. So after contacting Harvest Rate, they actually want us to ship it back. They're arranging everything. They sent us the boxes to package it all up, and we're going to be trading it out, but unfortunately that means probably another month of no freeze dryer content because we have to wait for this to get shipped to them. They're going to analyze it and then ship us a new one. So that whole process is going to take a little while. So sadly, we can't do any more freeze drying right now, but hopefully we'll get this all fixed, and Harvest Rate has been good to work with. So
who's driving the tractor?
Yeah.
Are you driving the tractor?
Good morning. So the job this morning before it gets really hot is to work on some of this drainage ditch, putting in this drain pipe for the gutters. I did a lot of backfill last night around sunset, trying to work around the heat. Got another, depends on how far I want to go, 20 to 40 feet. So working through some rocks at the moment. But let's keep going. The chickens came over this morning to say hello. All right, I'm gonna call this job good up here. I'm still gonna add drainage going down underground, but this gets the gutter water away from the house and then also this outbuilding. So I'm happy with that. All right, I'm calling this upper section finished. I got the backfilling done. I made a little fancy landscaping with the rocks that I pulled out, bringing them back up above the sod that grew over top of them. So I have it dumping out just here past the foundation of the outbuilding. It'll go down here, and then this next project, one of these next projects, will be drainage for the lower section, because the lower section down there has a good bit of standing water to the point where I can't mow it or maintain it. We were thinking about maybe making it more of our wetland stuff like we have over here, with, you know, maybe like a raised pathway in between, and just make another wetland circle over there. We'll see. But done for now. Figure while I'm in the area in the backyard here, I'll give you an update on the calf called Daisy. We set up a little ABC tote hut for her, but she doesn't particularly like it. She prefers to hang out there under the arborvitae. But I think she's climbing steps now, so we have a heifer calf right outside the back door begging for milk in the morning and evening. Yep, she's right over here. She's doing quite well. We're very happy to see her progress. Hanging out in the shade, demanding milk, demanding attention. She loves playing with Bucky, our dog, our border collie dog. Her manure is still a little on the loose side for our liking, but everything else points to everything improving. Her eyes are starting to look better. We put her on some of our raw milk that we normally drink for our personal use, and that really helped turn her around coming off of the antibiotics. So everything's looking up there with Daisy for the time being, so we're happy with that. That'll be all for today's video this weekend. Thanks for watching.
Somebody wanted to say goodbye and thanks for watching too. She got up, came running over. Yeah. What do you think, Daisy? She loves her brisket rubbed.